In the aftermath of World War I, Europe stood at a crossroads. Amidst economic turmoil, social upheaval, and political uncertainty, one man emerged to redefine the course of history. His name was Benito Mussolini, and his rise to power marked the birth of a new era in Italian politics. But who was Benito Mussolini? How did a former socialist journalist transform into a fervent nationalist leader? Join us on a journey through the life and legacy of the man who would become known as Il Duce as we unravel the story of Benito Mussolini, the rise and fall of fascism. From his humble beginnings to the heights of power, Mussolini's journey is a complex tapestry of ambition, ideology, and authoritarianism. Through propaganda, censorship, and a cult of personality, he forged a totalitarian state unlike any other in Europe. Yet, Mussolini's legacy is not merely confined to Italy. His alliance with Nazi Germany and his ambitions for a new Roman Empire left an indelible mark on the world stage, shaping the course of World War II and altering the course of history forever. But like all tyrants, Mussolini's reign eventually crumbled. As military defeats mounted and internal dissent grew, the once mighty dictator found himself facing the harsh reality of his own demise. His execution marked the end of an era, but his legacy continues to linger, a reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and authoritarian rule. Join us as we delve into the life, times, and impact of Benito Mussolini. Through triumph and tragedy, glory and downfall, his story serves as a cautionary tale and a testament to the enduring power of history to shape our world. This is the story of Benito Mussolini, the rise and fall of fascism. Benito Mussolini was born on July 29, 1883 in Predoppio, a small town in northern Italy. His father, Alessandro Mussolini, was a blacksmith and a fervent socialist, while his mother, Rosa Maltoni, came from a family of modest means. Mussolini's upbringing was marked by poverty and political fervor. Despite their humble circumstances, Mussolini's parents instilled in him a strong sense of nationalism and ambition. From an early age, he showed remarkable intelligence and a flair for oratory, qualities that would shape his future political career. Growing up in late 19th century Italy, Mussolini witnessed firsthand the social and economic disparities that plagued the country. Italy was a young nation, unified only a few decades prior, and it grappled with poverty, political instability, and regional tensions. Despite his academic prowess, Mussolini's early years were not without challenges. He faced expulsion from multiple schools due to his rebellious nature and confrontational attitude. However, these experiences only fueled his determination to succeed and solidified his belief in the power of strength and resolve. Family played a significant role in Mussolini's life, particularly his relationship with his father, Alessandro. A staunch socialist and advocate for workers' rights, Alessandro's political beliefs deeply influenced his son, laying the groundwork for Mussolini's future ideological journey. By the turn of the 20th century, Mussolini's political views began to take shape. Inspired by nationalist movements sweeping across Europe, he embraced a fervent brand of Italian nationalism, calling for the revitalization of Italy's glory and the establishment of a new Roman Empire. As Mussolini's ambitions grew, so too did his thirst for knowledge. Despite his tumultuous academic record, he pursued a career in teaching and journalism, using these platforms to spread his radical ideas and challenge the status quo. In the crucible of early 20th century Italy, Benito Mussolini emerged as a figure of great promise and peril. His journey from a humble upbringing to the corridors of power would shape the destiny of a nation and reverberate throughout the annals of history.
In cui Roma aveva Cesare, Virgilio ed Augusto.
Aftermath of World War, I left Italy in turmoil, with economic hardship, social unrest, and political instability gripping the nation. It was in this climate of chaos that Benito Mussolini found his opportunity to seize power and reshape the course of Italian history. Inspired by the successes of socialist revolutions in Russia and nationalist movements across Europe, Mussolini founded the Fascist Party in 1919. Promising to restore order and greatness to Italy, he rallied disaffected veterans, disgruntled workers, and disillusioned intellectuals to his cause. Central to Mussolini's vision was the concept of fascism, a radical ideology that rejected democracy, embraced authoritarianism, and exalted the supremacy of the state above all else. Mussolini's charisma and oratorical skill allowed him to effectively communicate his vision to the masses, earning him the nickname Il Duce, or the Leader. In October 1922, Mussolini and his followers embarked on the famous March on Rome, a bold and brazen display of political strength aimed at pressuring the government to appoint him as prime minister. The government capitulated, and Mussolini assumed power, marking the beginning of fascist rule in Italy. As prime minister, Mussolini wasted no time in consolidating his power and transforming Italy into a one-party state. He suppressed political opposition, abolished civil liberties, and established a cult of personality around himself, presenting himself as the embodiment of the nation's greatness and destiny. Under Mussolini's leadership, Italy experienced a period of rapid industrialization and infrastructure development, but these achievements came at a cost. Dissent was ruthlessly silenced, opposition was crushed, and individual freedoms were sacrificed in the name of national unity and strength. By the mid-1920s, Mussolini had firmly established himself as the undisputed ruler of Italy, wielding absolute power and shaping every aspect of Italian society according to his fascist vision. But the seeds of his downfall had already been sown, setting the stage for a tumultuous era of conflict, conquest, and catastrophe.
Terzo annuale della fondazione dell'impero e prima giornata della festa dedicata all'esercito, voi avete assistito ad una memorabile parata militare.
With his grip on power firmly established, Benito Mussolini set out to implement his vision of a fascist state, reshaping Italian society and economy according to his ideology. Central to Mussolini's economic policy was corporatism, an ideology that aimed to unite workers, employers, and the state under a single hierarchical structure. Through corporatist reforms, Mussolini sought to suppress class conflict, boost productivity, and strengthen the nation's industrial base. Under Mussolini's rule, Italy witnessed a flurry of construction projects, including roads, bridges, and public buildings, aimed at modernizing the country and showcasing fascist prowess. However, these grandiose schemes often came at the expense of individual rights and freedoms, as dissent was quashed in the name of progress. Mussolini's regime was notorious for its suppression of free speech and dissent. Censorship was rampant, with newspapers, books, and films subject to strict government control. Intellectuals, journalists, and political opponents were persecuted and silenced as Mussolini sought to maintain his iron grip on power. Propaganda played a crucial role in Mussolini's regime, shaping public opinion and glorifying the fascist state. Schools became centers of indoctrination, teaching children the virtues of loyalty, obedience, and sacrifice in service to the nation. Mussolini himself was portrayed as a godlike figure, revered and adored by the masses. One of Mussolini's most enduring legacies was the creation of the Fascist Youth, a paramilitary organization aimed at instilling fascist values in the younger generation. Through youth camps, sports clubs, and ideological education, Mussolini sought to mold Italy's youth into loyal disciples of the fascist state. By the late 1930s, Mussolini had firmly entrenched himself as the undisputed leader of Italy, wielding absolute power and commanding unwavering loyalty from his followers. But as the storm clouds of war gathered on the horizon, Mussolini's reign would face its greatest challenge yet. As Mussolini solidified his grip on power at home, he turned his attention to the international stage, seeking to expand Italy's influence and reclaim its former glory through aggressive foreign policy. One of Mussolini's first acts as prime minister was the invasion of Ethiopia in 1935, a brutal campaign aimed at expanding Italy's colonial empire and bolstering Mussolini's image as a strong and decisive leader. Despite international condemnation, Mussolini remained undeterred, forging ahead with his imperial ambitions. Mussolini's intervention in the Spanish Civil War further cemented his reputation as a key player on the world stage. In support of General Francisco Franco's nationalist forces, Mussolini dispatched troops and military aid, hoping to establish a fascist foothold in Spain and counter the spread of communism. However, it was Mussolini's alliance with Nazi Germany that would ultimately define his foreign policy and seal his fate. In 1939, Mussolini and Hitler signed the Pact of Steel, a military alliance that committed Italy to support Germany in the event of war. This alliance would prove disastrous for Italy and lead to its eventual downfall. With the outbreak of World War II, Mussolini eagerly joined Hitler's side, launching invasions of Albania and Greece in a bid to expand Italy's territorial holdings. However, these military campaigns proved disastrous, exposing Italy's military weaknesses and draining its already fragile resources. By 1943, Mussolini's dream of a new Roman Empire lay in ruins. Italy suffered a series of humiliating defeats, losing control of its colonies in Africa and facing imminent invasion from Allied forces. Faced with mounting pressure, Mussolini's grip on power began to slip, leading to his eventual downfall and capture.
Unite in a single law our two nations.
As the tide of war turned against him, Benito Mussolini's grip on power began to falter, plunging Italy into a state of crisis and chaos. In July 1943, facing mounting pressure from both domestic opposition and Allied forces, King Victor Emmanuel Roman III dismissed Mussolini from power and ordered his arrest. Mussolini's downfall marked the end of an era, but his troubles were far from over. In September 1943, Italy surrendered to the Allies, and Mussolini was taken into custody by Italian partisans. He was subsequently transported to northern Italy, where he faced trial for his crimes against the Italian people. On April 28, 1945, as Allied forces closed in on his location, Mussolini and his mistress, Clara Petacci, attempted to flee to Switzerland. However, their escape was short-lived. On April 29, Mussolini and Petacci were captured by Italian partisans near Lake Como. The next day, they were executed by firing squad. The execution of Benito Mussolini marked the end of fascist rule in Italy and the beginning of a new chapter in Italian history. His body, along with those of other fascist leaders, was publicly displayed in Milan as thousands of Italians celebrated the demise of the dictator who had ruled over them with an iron fist. Today, Benito Mussolini's legacy remains a subject of controversy and debate. While some view him as a visionary leader who brought order and stability to Italy, others see him as a ruthless dictator whose policies led to untold suffering and destruction. Regardless of one's perspective, one thing remains clear: the legacy of Benito Mussolini continues to shape the course of Italian politics and society to this day. The legacy of Benito Mussolini is a complex and contentious subject, one that continues to provoke debate and reflection in Italy and around the world. For some, he is remembered as a transformative leader who brought Italy out of chaos and into the modern era. For others, he is a symbol of tyranny and oppression, whose regime left a dark stain on Italian history. In Italy, Mussolini's legacy remains deeply divisive. While some still venerate him as a hero and patriot, others condemn him as a fascist dictator responsible for leading Italy into ruin. The rise of populist and nationalist movements in Italy and elsewhere has sparked renewed interest in Mussolini's ideology, raising questions about the lessons of history and the dangers of authoritarianism. Despite the passage of time, the specter of Mussolini's regime continues to cast a long shadow over Italian society. Efforts to confront Italy's fascist past, including the preservation of historical memory and the prosecution of war crimes, remain ongoing as Italy grapples with the legacy of its fascist past and seeks to build a more inclusive and democratic future. Ultimately, the legacy of Benito Mussolini serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of democracy and the dangers of unchecked power. As Italy and the world continue to reckon with the lessons of history, the story of Mussolini and fascism serves as a cautionary tale and a call to vigilance, reminding us of the importance of defending democratic values and upholding human rights in the face of tyranny and oppression. In the annals of history, the name Benito Mussolini looms large, a figure of controversy, fascination, and dread. From his humble beginnings in northern Italy to his meteoric rise to power and eventual downfall, Mussolini's life is a testament to the complexities of human ambition, ideology, and power. Today, Italy stands as a vibrant democracy, a testament to the resilience of its people and the enduring power of democratic ideals. Yet, the legacy of Mussolini and fascism continues to shape Italy's journey, reminding us of the importance of confronting the ghosts of the past and building a future grounded in justice, equality, and freedom. As we reflect on the life and legacy of Benito Mussolini, let us remember the lessons of history and the sacrifices of those who fought against tyranny and oppression. Let us strive to build a world where the horrors of fascism remain a distant memory and where the principles of democracy and human rights prevail. This is the story of Benito Mussolini, a journey through triumph and tragedy, glory and downfall. May we never forget the lessons of his life, and may we always strive to build a future where freedom, justice, and dignity reign supreme. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life and legacy of Benito Mussolini. His story is one that continues to shape our understanding of power, politics, and the human condition. As we move forward, let us remember the importance of confronting the past, learning from our mistakes, and building a future guided by compassion, empathy, and respect for all. This is the story of Benito Mussolini. May it serve as a reminder of the enduring power of history to shape our world and inspire us to strive for a future grounded in peace, justice, and equality for all.